countdown that goes on there, right? The 3, 2, 1, live. It's like it's really. Are we good to go? I see the light. Here we go. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is 11:58. It's pretty good. Usually I'm like 12:01, 12:03, 11:58. That's maybe it's because I got Kelly with me today. So this is our gosh, can you believe that we're mid-June already? We're already past mid. Yeah, it's crazy how fast the year. I mean, we were just having like Christmas like last week, high school graduations. We'll talk a little bit about that, but mid-June already. So this is our Chat with the Chief session for the month of June. I'm going to be with you guys, spend some time together with our community from 12 to 1 today. And then we're going to do this again at 6 o'clock this evening. Kelly is making sure I don't mess anything up and working with me this afternoon. And then Matt or you, Kelly? Matt's working with me. Matt will be working with me tonight. So what we like to do in these sessions, it doesn't take the place of community meetings. It's just another venue. So we utilize a little bit of technology and just field your questions that you may have, some open discussions. Disclaimer right away, if you have a question about a case, I'll try to be as open and transparent as I can. Probably talking from a 50-foot level, so I don't want to disrupt anything that the detectives are doing or the Commonwealth Attorney is doing as the case moves forward. But I'll try to share with you what I can. A couple topics we're going to touch base. I want to share with you our latest graduation was last Friday. Our gun awareness walk that we had last week. We had some camps over the weekend, and we actually have a camp going on right now. I certainly want to share with you our crime update and our data. I want to really hit on where we're at right now with I just met with our homicide captain and lieutenants to give you an update on where we're at with our shootings and homicides. We'll talk about some things going on around the country, right? We're going to talk a little bit about some of the protests that we've seen, what's going on with Israel and Iran. I want to make sure that individuals of both nations that are here in our country feel safe and reach out and in touch with them and the groups that they are affiliated with. We'll touch base on technology. And a little bit of my favorite topic, a little bit of baseball. I got to see some Boys and Girls Clubs play some baseball games this weekend. If the picture was clear, you would probably see a little bit of I paid the price for being outside watching those games, and then some soccer at Gethsemane Baptist Church. I got invited to see some soccer games, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So those are some of the topics, and then any questions you might have. So I will ask, I see we got a couple people on, Joy and Carrie, both of you, thank you. And look, Joy is already ahead of me because the questions I was going to ask is visually, is it coming across okay, and audioly, are we sounding okay? And Joy has already said good on both. So thank you. So thank you for being here, and Ms. Cox, thank you. And Carrie, I really want to thank you. You're always such a supporter, a big advocate with police and community and NAACP. Thank you for coming to our police graduation. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Some things that went on there. I was, I think for most chiefs that a class graduating is pretty special. For me, it's one of my favorite things because you look back, reflective on my own career and policing, how it's changed over the years, and then to see brand new officers graduate and what their career will hold, right? The impact that they will make and relationships they will build. So I want to certainly share with you some of the things that went on our graduation on Friday. As 19 recruits walked across the stage and are starting their career. They actually started their first day of work yesterday. So here in Newport News, we give them the first weekend off. They spend time with their families. Some families traveled a long distance to see them. We had people here from East Coast, New York. We had people from Florida, and we also had people from Puerto Rico. So it was, it was just a really good day. So first, let me touch base where we're at crime-wise. So violent crime in our city is down almost 8%, 7.7. The numbers come out every Monday. We review them on Mondays and Thursdays. So about 7.7. We are one homicide above where we were this time last year, and last year was a record low for us in homicides for about the last, I think it was about the last 15 years, and it was a record low in shootings for about the last 20 years. So we are under where we were this time last year in shootings. We have one homicide more than we had last year. Now, before I break that down a little bit, I want to make sure, and me and my friend Mr. Gwynn talk about this a lot. Those data points, it's important for me to track. I want to know if our shootings or homicides and our crime is going up, and we need to tweak and change our strategies, or if they're going down reinforce what we're doing, or we're seeing successes in some part of the city, we want to try those same policing strategies there, or if we're staying flatlined, we need to do something different. But every one of those data points, every one of those entries is an individual. It's not just data, it's a person, right? It's someone's family member, someone in a community, in our neighborhoods, or people. And I don't lose sight of that. I need to track that momentum to see where we are, how our strategies are working, how our technology is working, how our clearance rates, are we making arrests in these cases? But I don't lose, right? I don't lose here that those are people. Those are family members. Those are loved ones. Those are mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, and aunts and uncles. And I understand that. So I just want to, for those of you that that's important to me. Those individuals are important to me. So like I said, our violent crime is down almost 8%. Homicides, we have one more this year than we had last year. This time last year we had 8. We currently have 9. Of the 9 homicides we've had so far this year, we have solved 7. I think Kelly just put out the release today, did you not, or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Homicide number 9 that was solved and an arrest was made over the weekend, and we put that information out yesterday. So of the 2 remaining, 1,000% that we are going to solve one of those 2. That's just a matter of time. Information we have is there. And then there's 1 homicide that we're still doing work on, but I feel we're making progress. So we are going to have 8 of the 9 solved very, very quickly. And the detectives, and I think Kelly puts it in the press releases, and Kelly, I really appreciate that, where we talk about the work of the detectives, the officers who responded, technology that we have, right, that City Council has allowed us to purchase, not to be Big Brother, but to solve crimes and show good cases to our Commonwealth Attorney, the defense attorney, our judges, and our juror members, citizens, you. And the other key component to the crimes that we're solving is our citizens, individuals who take the time to call in, share information, call the tip line. All of those things play a role in what we're doing, and I appreciate that. I'm talking now about solving crime, but also about deterring crime and being able to adjust and disrupt some other things. On our shootings, our shooting clearance rate is about 40%. There is no national average for clearance of shootings. That category falls into ag assault. So if someone is punched in the face and you break a bone, that's an ag assault. If you throw a water bottle full of ice and it hits someone, it's report-wise, we categorize it as an ag assault. But an ag assault is really with intent to maim, kill, or disfigure, right? So it could be hitting someone with an item, a weapon, a puncture wound, a knife, but we really focus on our shootings. Our mayor is very much into, as am I, our gun violence, right? Is tracking that number. Where are we at? How are we doing? Our friends at VCU did a study for us a while back that if you're solving about 20 to 25% of your shootings, you're really about the 5 or 7% of departments in the country. We're solving 40%. We're getting a lot of calls, a lot of college students wanting to do studies on that. And one of the, again, what's the chemistry there that makes that equation work? That gets those results, and it's the same thing that we just talked about. It is our technology. It's responding to shootings the same way that we do a homicide. That we're bringing all of our resources there. Our forensic team does an amazing job. Officers that are responding, information that's shared on the street, and citizens getting involved. Those are the reasons. It's making quick arrests and not letting retaliation and things build and fester in the community. So I just wanted to share some of those things with you about where we're at. The crime that's really driving us this year is thefts, larceny, shopliftings, if you will. Someone steals a cell phone. Someone goes into a store and steals a candy bar or a pack of cigarettes or a cup of coffee. It's theft, larcenies, and auto theft, and also auto theft attempt, right? Earlier on in the year, there was some things with technology, not to give any secrets away, of some devices you could use to steal 2 particular types of vehicles. Those ownerships of the vehicles that manufacturers have adjusted that. People are still trying, so they're not stealing as many, but the attempts are there. So we're trying to work on our auto thefts. The detectives and officers are doing a great job. Our clearance rates, when I talk about clearance rates, Kayla, I saw you popped up. I appreciate you being here today. Kayla, I might have a friend of mine called me about some job opportunities for the summer. I don't know if you're interested, but it reminds me, I saw your name. It was like, hey, we're looking at maybe hiring some young people to help out for the summer. And I thought, could certainly ask. So we'll talk later. But when we talk about auto thefts, trying to be in the areas where that's happening. And a lot of it, we believe, is juveniles will pick up a car, steal it, do something, and then dump the car somewhere else. We look at where those cars are being stolen from, where they're being recovered from. Then we talk about our clearance rates as well. That's important, right? So a clearance rate is a crime occurs and an arrest is made, or we clear that, right? And this year, the FBI sets the national average. Here's the average across the country. Every police department submits their data to the FBI, and they say this is the average. So let's take homicides. The FBI average for homicides is right around 50%. This is the first time in my 30-plus years where the FBI has set multiple averages. They have an overall national average, but then they also have average for smaller cities, mid-sized cities, and large cities. We would fall into the mid-sized city. So I want to make sure that our national average, our clearance rates, when we set when we do our scorecard, if you will, our balanced scorecard internally, we want to make sure that we want our goal, we want to clear more cases than what the national average is for cities our size. But we take it a step further. We also want to clear more cases at a higher rate, at a higher percentage of what the national average is, which is all of that combined together. So those are the two numbers that we continue to watch on. And I'll tell you, I'm happy to say, because of, again, technology, our citizens, the detectives, the officers, our forensics team, we are above the national average in cities, mid-sized cities our size, and the national average altogether in every category. That's robbery, rape, burglary, aggravated assault, larcenies, auto theft. We're above every category that the FBI captures. Our clearance rates are above both of those, cities our size and national average. And that is a testament to the work the officers that do here, the detectives, like I said, forensics, the technology we invest in, and citizens who are taking back their communities. So I know perception is always a hard thing to fight. We talk to people, and I'll ask them, well, what do you think the crime is in the city, or what do you think the homicide number is? And it's always much, much higher than what it actually is. And I believe a lot of that is perception. We try to do a good job of pushing out what these numbers are. I think it's important. It's not just, again, though, it's not just statistics. But when I hear, what do you think our homicide? Oh, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30. No, absolutely not. 9. Of the 9, and we look at what are our strategies doing, how are we, of the 9 homicides we've had this year, 7 have been inside, either inside a business, inside an apartment, residence, and dwelling. 2 have happened inside or have happened on our city streets. Of the 9, 5, maybe 6 are clearly domestic related. So that's important. I want to make sure that our strategies are focusing around the types of shootings and homicides that we're having. But we look at that. That's the reason we continue to go over and over. So let me just touch. So you talked to Kayla. Is it Nisi? Nisi, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Kayla, yeah, we got to talk. It's an opportunity. I don't know if you'd be interested, but at least it's pretty cool that somebody thought to call us and say, hey, if you know someone. So we got a couple positions. So yeah. So that's our crime. I just wanted to share that with you and talk a little bit about our strategies. We look at crime every Monday at 1 o'clock for about 1 to 3, about 2 hours. And we go over it again on Thursdays from the same time, 1 to 3. Just going over areas, neighborhoods, and individuals. So a couple things. Man, I'm excited, Kelly. I want to talk about our graduation. So our graduation ceremony was Friday. Academy goes about 7 months. After you graduate and get sworn in, then you do 3 or 4 months ride with a field training officer, and then you have to be signed off on, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, assistant chief, and then finally I'll sign off on it. And we have a certain amount of time by DCJS, Department of Criminal Justice Services, that tells us how much time we have to field train someone. So a good friend of ours, Mike Coker, he's always looking, I'm always asking him, like, hey, are we ahead of the game? How are we looking? What do we do? How do we train better? How do we put out the best recruit? We've added classes like psychology. Lieutenant Ross teaches one of our psychology classes, sociology, history of our city. The recruit class goes on tours of historical landmarks and foundations that we have here in our city, whether it's the Field House, the Newsom House. I want people to understand and know a little bit about how Newport News became Newport News. We close the books for a whole week, and we do what we call Community Week, and that is where individuals will interact with citizens. We'll walk in neighborhoods, knock on doors, and talk to them. how's life in your community? How long have you lived in Newport News? Anything you'd like to see? We have them interact with people that are homeless. We have them go to elementary schools and read books to kids. One class built a playground with the Boys and Girls Club. Um, we introduce them. We kind of have a job fair, if you will, and we take them to every station to look at the different entities, the thing that the city has to offer, and things that are out there. We work at the food bank. Um, it's really teaching a portion of service-oriented policing, if you will, without a PowerPoint, with hands-on, and I think that's important. Many recruits, if you pull someone aside over the last 6 years that we've been doing this, a lot of them will tell you their funnest week in the academy is that community week. They get to interact with citizens and individuals. I think it's a great way to learn. I always tease our Department of Criminal Justice Services. We don't get any credit for that, but I think it's vital. I think it's vital. We also, one of the funner things for me is we have a young adult police commissioner program. My friend Akela is part of that, and that's a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior from each high school. And this is going to link back to the graduation, I promise. Freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior from each high school. So 6 high schools in our city, 6 times 4 is 24 kids that we work with every Wednesday for about 3 hours. We feed them. We have debates, have the media outlets come in and teach them how to do interviews. We do community walks together. We do stuff at the food bank. They facilitate. They help me do a panel discussion where I go to each high school, myself and other officers, and ask and have the students, the young people, ask questions of us. Right, we go to their backyard, each of the high schools, and just do a panel, a forum, if you will, and let them ask us questions. You know, the forensics detectives, the forensics technicians always get the best questions. Are the special victims when you talk about relationships, social media, and things that people post. So we're supposed to have 24 kids. Well, this year we had 45. I don't know where all those kids came from, but I sure enjoyed working with them. And we learn as much from them as they do from us as we talk about, you know, how do they look at life, how do they look at their police department, how do they look at their community. They've gone to city council meetings and introduced themselves to the mayor and city council and talk about the things that they do here and what they're focusing on. With that group of 45, every police memorial service, every promotion ceremony, every national night out, every award ceremony, and every police graduation, a high school kid delivers a speech. Now, I don't know if you'll see it anywhere else in the country, but what I'm trying to do is sending a message to those youth of our city that they matter to me, but I'm also trying to send a message to the men and women who wear this uniform, these patches and this badge, that youth matter to me. That's our future. So at our police graduation, one of the best speeches came from our sophomore, a junior who gave a speech and talked about the relationship with the police department, how youth look at them. And I will tell you, the line, I hope I don't botch it up, because several people have called me like, hey man, that was amazing. But this young man said, the youth of today, you may think we don't listen or watch, but we do. And what we like about the police department is that we like when you protect us, not police us. And man, I think that's impactful. One of the best parts is when we bring those high school kids in a room with the recruits and we set them all, interchangeable, and set them all around a room and we have open discussion. And what we find out about 45 minutes into the discussion, but the same thing the youth of the city want. Don't judge me because of my race or skin color. Don't judge me because of where I live. Don't judge me because of my economic situation. Don't judge me because of some interaction you've had with another student or another young person. Don't judge me what's in social media. Say hi to me when I wave to you. Recruits, don't judge me because of this uniform. Don't judge me because of what you had some interaction with some police officer. Don't judge me because of something that's happened in another city across the country. And when I say hello to you or wave at you, say hello to me. It's one the same thing. And I don't know if in schools or in our academy we do enough teaching that about respecting one another. So it was just very, very, it was a great speech at our graduation. I'm so proud of those kids, man. We'll talk about the high school graduations in a second. So President Kelly from CNU was also a guest speaker. He came and delivered some powerful, powerful remarks. You know, he used to do the cadets in the Coast Guard. Now the president of CNU, and just a pillar in our society. He gave great remarks, and it was really a personal favorite to have him. So impressed with him, followed him, a mentor to me, and just to really watch what he does in our community and our schools. I'd hear him close out, "Go Captains!" Man, he's all in. He's all in. So I just really enjoyed having him there. It's kind of tradition in policing that the chief of police, at least here, will do the final inspections of the officers before they come out on stage. They get inspected and stuff in the academy, but the final inspection before they graduate, I'll go into a room and I will inspect them. Well, I was able to find a 9, 10-year-old little girl, and I asked her to inspect them with me. And what I tried to talk about with the recruits was, young people are always watching you. It may be from across the street or a playground, out their front door, on their front porch. But I wanted them to see, here was a young girl who was standing beside me as we went by each officer and inspected their uniform and asked, "Do you think they look okay?" Yeah, she checked their ties to make sure their ties were on straight. But I wanted it to impact her, but I really wanted it to impact those 18, 19 officers that graduated, so they can see how young people look at them. I just thought that was important. So we had a great graduation. Like I said, we had from people all over. We have a very diverse department, a very, very diverse academy. And for me, diversity is a lot more than just skin color, right? It's race and gender and background and culture, where you came from. And one of the, I was talking, and I delivered my remarks. We have people from Puerto Rico, the East Coast, right, the West Coast, New York, Florida, and all the way to Gloucester. And our homegrown right here in Newport News. So I was excited. So that was our graduation. That was last Friday. And I just did a couple interviews yesterday. We're getting ready to put our class in that will start at the end of this month. I think we're going to have 21 new recruits that will start. And we have a class of 15 that are in right now. They graduate in October. I'm excited. I'm excited. So that was our graduation. The other thing we had last week, we had our gun violence walk. That is an event we started a couple years ago with the Homicide Support Group. And it was about gun violence and bringing awareness to gun violence, trying to put a stop to gun violence, put firearms down, de-escalation, walk away from those situations. Nobody's life is worth that. We held it at City Center. We met at the Fountain and did several speeches. My friend, another teen, Miss Tate, did a great job delivering a poem that she had written. Mr. Glenn, our Commonwealth attorney, made remarks. Young lady sang a beautiful song. Lieutenant Schmidt from our homicide division kind of was the moderator and kept it moving. Our mayor came up and delivered some remarks. I had a few comments. And then we had a mother of a victim that talked about how the loss of her daughter had impacted her and wanting to see an end to gun violence. So our vice mayor attended, several council members. It was very impactful. So we had a really good time. And then walked, took some photographs at the end. I just really appreciate our chaplains. There was just a really good event. It was the 3rd or 4th year that we've done that. And it's Homicide Support Group, we wanted to put that together. So I thought it was great. Dr. Chambers, who works with us in a civilian capacity, working with domestic violence, homicide survivor. It was a good event. So one of the other things that we really focus on is youth, right? So just a couple things with youth. We've hit on crime, we've hit on our gun violence walk, we talked about our graduation. On youth. First, I was able to attend every graduation from Achievable Dreams 2 Thursday nights ago to each graduation 2 weeks ago. So Denby, Mitchville, Warwick High School, Woodside, Heritage, Achievable Dream. Man, they really, they have it down to a T. But I got to attend each one. I think that's important. Not only some of our young adult police commissioners that were graduating, but just to show the youth of this city that I support them. I didn't give any remarks. It was just there. Sometimes kids will tell me it's important just to show up, Chief. So I really enjoyed that. I got to see every one of our high schools graduate, and valedictorian, saluted to the speeches, the class president. It was just really, really good. It was a long weekend, but I really, really enjoyed it. And hats off while I'm there, Kelly, I should say. They held the graduations at the Convention Center in Hampton. And the Hampton Police Department had officers there. They just did a phenomenal job. School security was great. Captain Funiak attended some with me, Lieutenant Allen, Sergeant Goss, the school resource officers for each school were there. It was just a really good event. I really enjoyed that. This past weekend, right, just a couple of days ago, on Saturday, we had our first football camp. A couple of school resource officers that are big into coaching football, Officer Morrison and Ford, they came and proposed this to me a couple months ago. If they can get it past Chief Creswell, that's a hard hurdle. They got it past him, and they cornered me in the office and said, this is a program we want to do. I think we had 120 kids that signed up to register, and then they had a lot of football coaches from high school and some of the middle schools that came together and just taught practice drills for a couple hours on Saturday. I got to go out. Our assistant city manager, when I told him about it, he was like, "Oh, I want to show up. I want to see," and he showed up to watch these kids. So, man, it was great. Parents got to sit in the stands and watch the kids do different drills. We had snacks for them, T-shirts. But to work with some of these coaches and development and skill set, I thought was great. I really enjoyed it. I want to thank all the coaches that came out that are really to Ford and Morrison. I really want to thank you for the idea. Captain Funiak, you guys did a great job and very appreciative. Just impressive. Thank you for that. As we continue talking about youth, this week we have our Citizens Academy for Youth. CPAY is what they call it. I got to meet with the kids yesterday. I think we have 20 or 22 that are here all week. On Monday they come in, they're kind of they're dragging. But I'm impressed. I can tell you, when I was out of high school that first week, I wasn't showing up for a camp like that. So I was very impressed. Monica White and kind of over it with Miranda, Captain Funiak, school resource officers. But got to interact with some of the students yesterday. Really enjoyed that, and I'll be going down and teasing them and messing with them a little bit. But they divide them into 4 teams, and they do competitions and scoring, and school resource officers are captains of each team, and they get competitive. So it's just really great. We'll do a drone camp this summer. We had a pickleball camp over spring break, but I think that investing in youth matters. We're building relationships, and one of the things I said at the football camp on Saturday and at the yesterday morning is there's a lot more going on than just football. There's a lot more going on than just this camp. We're building relationships with individuals, and that matters. So carrying on with, I haven't missed any comments, have I, Kelly? I'm still good.
No, we're coming slow.
You know what? It's summer. People are doing their thing. I get it.
Yes, it does slow down during the summer.
So maybe people look at it later and they're like, hey, what's going on with the police department? We're able to share a little bit. So what Saturday? So after football camp, like we interact with these youth. So this teenager, she asked me, she's like, I'd like you to come see some soccer games at Gethsemane Baptist Church. So first off, Bishop Riddick, Gethsemane, huge supporters relationship with the police department. They do phenomenal work. I've attended service there many times. They do phenomenal work in the community, great teaching. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to provide youth an outlet. So they have these soccer games. So I went out on Saturday. I got to see some of the older kids play, and then some of the younger kids play. I had a blast. I saw my friend Samaya. It was pretty cool to interact with her. I saw several of the pastors there, the leadership, talked to families that were. I got to hold like a 3-year-old, man. She gave me the biggest hug, jumped up in my arms, and we just kind of talked and chatted it up a little bit. But I had a really good time. I saw probably 3 different games. But it's just to see the kids out there playing and what the parents were doing in the church. It was appreciative. It was very appreciative. From there, I went to Anderson Park, and my favorite sport is, do you know, Kelly, what my favorite sport is?
Yes, I think I do. Baseball.
Baseball is my favorite sport, right? And I got to see the Boys and Girls Club. I saw one full game and part of the second at Anderson Park, and I just had a blast, man. Some of the kids I knew, some of the kids I talked to before, and just getting to see them play ball and at that level. And it was hot, and I paid the price for it. But I will tell you, I had a blast just talking to some of the kids and their parents. I felt for the kids in that hot weather, but also felt for the umpire. I was talking to him. I kind of stayed back there behind the fence at home plate, had conversations with him, and It was just a really good day, and that matters. I think the investment that we do in youth, it matters. Would you agree, Kayla? So that was Saturday, and then a couple things that monitoring as we go along. You know, we have the tragedy that happened up in Minnesota. Um, if I don't want to say it wrong, an individual impersonating a police officer, dressed as a police officer, um, shot and killed an elected official and her spouse. They both were deceased. And then he shot another elected official and his spouse. And they are in critical condition, but they are not deceased. And the arrest was made, I believe, late Sunday night or Monday? Sunday night. But it generates a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. I talked to a lot of our elected officials over the weekend, and we'll talk about the flag raising that we were at yesterday. And I understand that concern. You know, we have a pretty elaborate system. We have a great relationship with all of our federal partners. We have a great relationship with state police, right? So anything that we would hear from across the country or around the state would come into our whether it's a federal system or the fusion center at the state, and we have that information. And we also will share information with that. We didn't get any threats here, haven't had any, but I certainly understand concerns that people have. And I talked to a couple elected officials yesterday just about those, monitoring the news and what was going on. We also seen protests and demonstrations that are taking place out of Los Angeles, some in Texas, and now around other parts of our country. There were several protests around the country on Saturday, and several here just in Virginia as well, Richmond, Chesapeake, and I think it was Williamsburg maybe that York County. So monitored some of those. We did not have any demonstrations or protests here. I think for the most part here, around in our area, everything was peaceful. I understood someone was injured in Culpeper with a vehicle driving through and striking someone. I don't know if that was an intentional, but Miss Tate, how are you? It's good. I don't know if you knew I was talking about you earlier. Thanks for joining us today. Talked about the soccer games and the fun I had at Gethsemane over the weekend. But yeah, so I'm very, very thankful. I think that people should let their voice heard and be able to talk how they want, and express their opinions, but I'll always want to see it peaceful and no one get hurt. So I looked at that. I talked to other chiefs around the state, how they were doing, and everything seemed very, very peaceful, orderly, and people expressing their opinions and thoughts here in Virginia. Last week, there is a Hampton Roads Chiefs and Police Association. Last week, about 40 different police chiefs were here in Newport News. It was our turn to host. Our city was elected to run the meetings for this year. And so we had the meeting here. Mayor Jones came and welcomed everyone, thanked people for the work that they did. He had some conversations with, we stay in contact all the time, but he had conversations with other chiefs in the room and asked how they were doing. And I really appreciate for him that, I know he's a busy man, to take the time and come welcome all those chiefs of police here in our city. We talk about things that are going on around the country, things here homegrown and in our state. We share ideas, what's working, what hasn't worked, what have you tried, what technology are you using, what training's out there, how are you recruiting, how are you retaining officers. So we bounce ideas off of each other. It was a great discussion, and I just appreciate the federal agencies that attended, the Coast Guard, FBI, NCIS. You know, we talked a lot about the situation that happened in Norfolk, regrettably, with the young sailor. Heart goes out, and had a conversation with Chief Talbot about that. And those are hard situations, and someone in our service, serving our country. So it was just a really good meeting. So we talked a little bit about the protest monitoring. That the last thing that I really wanted to hit on that we wrote down is we're seeing the conflict now with the missiles exchanging in Iran and Israel, and we have individuals, both countries, both cultures, both descents here in our city. Tried to reach out to both and just check on them, share some conversation. I want to hear where their heads are, how they feel, are they concerned. both have entities that I talk with have friends, family, relatives that are in both of those areas. So I'm not getting into the political side at all, but I do want to talk about, or just want to touch base on, for the residents who live here in our city. Just want them to know that the department is a resource to hear their concerns if they have any, and I don't want people to take advantage of different things going on and making threats to any particular group, any particular religion, any particular sect, whatever it might be. Our job, men and women who wear this uniform, is to protect and serve the citizens who live in our city. And I don't want people to live in fear. I don't want people to be afraid. So trying to get out accurate information, be transparent. And that's one of the reasons we have these conversations. So I just wanted to share that with you. So Ms. Tate, I hope you're doing well, enjoying your summer break. I know you're doing a little summer employment. You work 100 miles, or do 100 miles an hour, and 100 different things. So very, very impressed. I don't know if anyone has got to go up and see the Port Warwick concerts. Myself and other officers and Chief Rogers, my partner, we enjoy going to. Fanny, good afternoon. Appreciate you being here. Hope all is well. But we go up to Port Warwick, enjoy the music. I see my friend Bobby Blackhat. He always teases me. It's always good to see him. I got to see the Tradoc Band perform. Man, I'll tell you what, I got to see Soundscapes. The kids performed a couple weeks ago. Amazing, man. I just really enjoyed them. But the different groups that come in, they run a great program up there. I get to walk around a little bit. It's always good to get out, talk to citizens. I get my steps in, if you will, and just say hello to people having a good time. And speaking of having a good time, Kelly, yesterday morning, we had our annual flag raising, the Juneteenth, down at City Hall. Myself and Chief Creswell were able to attend that service. Great speeches, great speaker. I asked the individual who guest speaker to sign the program. I just thought he did an amazing job. There was performances. Our former employee actually sang and performed. Jerry Hairston from with Newport News Public Schools and used to be with the police department. He sang "Lift Every Voice," and man, he's a talent. He's also a friend. Thought he did a great job. But I enjoyed, and then of course the mixed honor guard, right? So sheriff's department, police department, fire department raised the flag, the Juneteenth flag. We talked about the history there. Mayor Jones gave remarks. Just a really, really good event. And then we have a concert on Saturday here, right from 3 to 8 at Victory Landing. It is limited on space, so at some point we have to cut some off. But it should be a great concert. Excited to see people come out and enjoy and celebrate Juneteenth. I know there's different things throughout the week. I think Harvest Church is doing something on Thursday where we actually celebrated there on the 19th at King Lincoln Park. So I'll be down there to say hello to Pastor and my friend Apostle and some of my friends there as they put on a really good event. I look forward to being at that. So it kind of hits on the areas I wanted to share with you. We talked about crime, just recapping. We talked about crime data. We talked about our gun violence walk that we had. We talked about some of the focus on youth, right, through the high school graduations, the football camp that we had. Got to go see some baseball over the weekend, some soccer that Samaya invited me to. Monitor certainly some of the protests going on around the country, what's going on between Israel and Iran right now with some of the strikes. We talked about our own graduation we had. So we have 18, 19 new recruits that are out. They actually, like I said, we gave them the weekend off, but they started patrolling our neighborhood and our community on Monday. So I'd like to give them that weekend so all those families that travel spend some time with them, right? And so I think that's important. I also really wanted to shout out and thank the hard work of our recruiters who found the best and the brightest to join our department, and hard work from our training academy takes a group of individuals that come from different backgrounds across our country and bring them together and teach them the best way to be a police officer here in Newport News. And that matters to me. You know, our training is one of the things that we really pour a lot into, and it's been a key point for us this year to send people out and have them take part in different assessment centers and trainings. One of the things to highlight at graduation, I don't think I brought it up earlier, is people can go back and watch it on our system, right?
On our YouTube channel.
Our YouTube channel. I have to share with you a special moment. I ask the audience to indulge me for just a minute. 35 years in any profession is admirable. But 35 years of police work, that's something. And the night before graduation, we always meet the parents of the graduates. And we get them alone, and we just have some conversation, and just talk to them. And after that, one of the captains asked the command staff and myself, "Can I talk to you?" And he shared that this would be his last graduation. And Captain Morgan Tegens announced that he'd be retiring. And so at our graduation, about 10 minutes in, if you want to go back and see it, we kind of highlighted and pointed Morgan out. He got a standing ovation from the audience and from his peers. Footprints are all over this organization, from the relationships that he's built in our city, our community, the people, the officers he's invested in, wealth of knowledge, just a good individual who cares about people. And he's my friend. So I wanted to highlight him and thank him for his years of service. We may have some more of that coming up. Newport News Police Foundation. All those events that I just talked about, our police graduation, football camp, Citizens Academy for Youth, or CPA if you will, drone camp, the gala that we put on for those high school kids that are in our Young Adult Police Commissioners, the Young Adult Police Commissioners program, that all has a cost. And our police foundation does amazing work in funding things and helping us facilitate that. This is an entity that works with donors, has a board that, hey, this is something we can funnel through donations. We can funnel money in here to do this training or do this learning. They were the first to fund our body-worn cameras when we started years and years ago. They were the first to help with our outer carrier vests that we started years ago. They fund our, I'm probably going to say it wrong, but our medical bags, trauma kits that we have in our police cars, where I'm telling you, those kits have saved individuals' lives. Tourniquets, they have saved individuals' lives before medics get there. And I don't say that just because I believe that. Medics have told me that, and so have doctors and surgeons. That's valuable, right? That's money well spent. They do a lot for our canines. They do a lot for the youth in this city. Rob Coleman, who wears a lot of different hats, so I'm just going to focus on the Police Foundation president hat. He does a lot, and really the star. I think most would agree with me. Really, the star of our Police Foundation is Megan Stewart. She asks hard questions. Like, Chief, we'll find a way to fund it. We'll get the money. We'll go to our donors. We'll go back to the board. She does a great job. I will tell you, Megan, I think people mess with me. Maybe you put them up to it, Megan. I don't know. But they're like, Chief, it would really be nice to have some desserts at some of these events. I'm like, oh, my gosh. So they're like, no, it would be nice to have a cupcake. Or yeah, I get it. But they give me a hard time. But I will tell you, our foundation, man, they do so much for this community, so much for the men and women in this department, sworn and civilian both, dispatchers, all of it. They do an amazing job. I just can't thank them enough. You know, I'm so appreciative of what they do. You don't get that everywhere. So, Megan, Rob, the Police Foundation Board, I love you guys. I appreciate the time. Megan said it's a team effort. Yeah, I know it's a team effort, but I know who pushes and runs the team too, Megan. And I definitely appreciate it. Let me catch up here. The trauma kits. Thank you, Kelly, for the correction. I was calling them medical bags. thanks.
It's okay.
It's Trauma Kits were sponsored by the FOP Lodge number 25 in memory, wow, of my friend, longtime officer here, Tony Poe, and the service that he did in training officers and just being a servant to this community. Wow, thank you for that. And I think, Megan, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Academy class took a picture afterwards of some of those trauma kits, if I'm not mistaken. I thought I saw them. It's like herding cats, man. They want to get to their families and they're all excited, and everybody wants to talk to them. So I know that was hard. Like, stand over here. We can't see you come forward. But I just thought that was great, and I appreciate that. So yeah, so you know, at the academy or at the graduation, I kind of talked about, you know, there's some different things here in our city, man. It is like a family here. Yeah, all the people that came out, you know, the council members, Hal and Rob from the Boys and Girls Club, members from the Police Foundation, directors from other areas of the city, president of the NAACP, Ms. Jennifer was there, who's also gone through our Citizens Academy, who sits on our Use of Force Review Board. Yeah, it was just important, man. It was just a really good day, a really good event, and I told the recruits that this the mayor, our city council, our city manager, and assistant city manager who were both there, it matters. They realize the challenges that police officers have to endure, things that they see, that they respond to, the long hours they put in. In every event that we put on in our city, people expect to be safe. And so those individuals, we still got to answer calls for service. So when those events come, these officers come in on their days off to handle that. And I appreciate that. I would, the heart that beats in these officers, man, I am so thankful. And it's not like that everywhere. I'm thankful. I think God has blessed us with a tremendous department, a tremendous community, tremendous youth. We certainly have our challenges. We certainly make our mistakes. And lead the way with that. But we try to do better each and every day. We should be better than we were yesterday, and we have to be better tomorrow than we are today. That's how we evolve. That's in talent, that's in training, that's in recruiting, putting people in the right places, the structure of our department, whether we're doing things through hiring our own social workers here to work with human services, right, our social services, child protective services, right, that we have a component of that here that we pay, that we hire, specialists that work in domestic violence that are civilian, that do outreach but also train our department, a homicide support group, a domestic violence support group, environmental officers that focus on environmental, right, like the kind of, if you look at the broken window theory, or individuals that have grass too high, or buildings that have been condemned that people have broken into, street signs that have been knocked over, broken down vehicles that are parked on our streets where individuals get hurt on, interacting with our homeless population to make sure that they're getting services, that we're interacting with them. All those things matter, and it's not just responding to a call, writing a report, and moving on. It is investing in our community and getting to know people, and that was really the message at our graduation. Hi, Chief. Please. Wait, is that Debbie? Debbie, thank you for being here. So I can't do the political stuff, but I see you. It's good to have you. I haven't seen you in a while, but I appreciate you being on today. I can't do the political thing, but we did talk about Debbie. I don't know if you joined or been on for a little bit, but we did talk about some of the protests, you know, that were going on around the country, and then what we saw in our state. We talked a little bit about what's going on between Israel and Iran, and again, not picking it. Just what we are to do is to keep people safe. So it is an election day, Debbie. It is election day in our city. I touched base with Captain Tegens in our dispatch center. I want to make sure that officers are checking the polls, not providing a presence to intimidate anyone, but just to be, you know, drive through the area that people are seeing. I want people to feel comfortable coming out and vote. That's a great point. I can't. That's one of the things I should have talked about, Kelly, was election day, right? No, it was my fault. It was my fault. I'm trying to think of all the hot topics, right? And that's a big thing in our city and around the country. But I, you know, I want officers to be in the areas to be seen. I want people to feel comfortable. That was really my angle to talk about some of the things that happened in Minnesota as well. Um, but I did talk to Captain Tegens before I came in here. We've had no issue, no issue,
Shoes.
no issues in any of our polling areas. We've not had any calls for service, so Captain Tegens over our communications. And safety for all, right, Debbie, you're exactly right. So safety for all, and like I said, we haven't had any calls. I shared that with our assistant city manager. I want him to know kind of what we're doing and keep him up to speed. So we're monitoring that throughout the day, but so far no issues. Knock on wood, and I appreciate that. The democratic process do its thing. But Debbie, I appreciate you being here, and I hope you and your family are doing well. So if we're not seeing a lot of questions that I'm seeing, I understand it's the summer. People get bored. They can certainly look at this later on. I tried to hit some of the main topics. We talked about the event coming up this Saturday. The next big event for us is 4th of July weekend. I'm telling you, I cannot believe that we're over halfway through June. We just had Thanksgiving dinner like 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? But we continue to recruit. We're looking, if you're interested in being a police officer or a dispatcher, we'd love you to look at our department. I got to interview 3 new applicants yesterday, and I will tell you, all 3 of them said the same thing when I asked, why did you choose this department? And they said, we did our due diligence, we looked at different departments, and we saw your community outreach, we saw what you do with youth, and we want to be, not me, right, the department, we want to be a part of that. And I was impressed with that. Individuals that have been in the military, individuals that are coming out of the workforce, individuals that are changing careers. I was just impressed with that. I'm excited about our new class that will start in about 2 weeks. We'll get myself and the chiefs will get to go meet them and interact with them. So I'm excited about that. I appreciate all the work that our officers do. At the end of the day, it's men and women that make this city better. From our dispatchers, our forensic technicians, our sworn officers that have been doing this job over 20 years, that have been doing it for 5 to 10 years, those that are just starting, just graduating, those that are going to walk into an academy in about 2 weeks here and start their new class. For the different agencies that we partner with, our federal partners, our Commonwealth Attorney's Office, Debbie pointed out, right, our Commonwealth Attorney's Office, our fire department, I think they play a role as well. Our school system have a great relationship with Superintendent Dr. Mitchell and our school board. I think that's important from all of our elected officials on City Council. Mr. Archer, our City Manager, Bo Clayton, I spent a tremendous amount of time with. Had a conversation just this morning. And yesterday morning as well, right? He was asking for some updates. And I appreciate that, right? They ask hard questions, man, but they're engaged. And I like that. I think that makes us better. All the directors that we have, Frank James and others, it's just, I'm blessed. Our dispatchers, the true first responders, right? Our dispatchers just do an amazing job. And the people that work behind the scenes, the folks in records. Be remiss if I didn't mention the hard work that Kelly King and her office do behind the scenes, answering all those calls from all the reporters out there that want to know the ins and outs of what's going on. But she manages that well, and that's just reporters, right? That's not talking about putting on the events and marketing our department, crafting our social media. How many followers do we have now, Kelly?
Close to 69,000.
So that's 69,000. And I think the goal for this year was to hit 65. Is that what the goal
Yes.
was?
Yeah.
So you already have exceeded that?
Mhm.
I mean, it's just amazing. And how do we do that? I think that's done by outreach, being transparent. But I will say we do not always get it right, and I know that I don't. We're imperfect. We make mistakes, but I think it's okay to say that we're sorry. It's okay to say that we didn't get it right. So it's okay to say that we could do better. I wish we solved every case right away. I had families that call and, Chief, we're seeing other cases solved. Why isn't mine? And there's a plethora of reasons. Witnesses that don't want to come forward. Different technology that we have today. Individuals that don't want to share information, but they know who did it. Myself and Mr. Glenn talk all the time about we could solve 4 or 5 cases right now if the individuals who witnessed it would come forward. And that used to really, really anger me when I was a young officer, but as my time, I understand that when we leave that neighborhood, individuals who testify have to go back and live where they live, and I understand that. So we have to find other ways, hence why we really try to invest heavily in technology. But I can tell you, I am so impressed with this community, the calls that come in behind the scenes, right? Hey, look, I don't want to testify, but I can tell you, you might want to check out this vehicle. You might want to look under this bush. Or this address might be someone you want to talk to. And we get that a lot. And I'm thankful. And that only comes from investment that we make in this community, primarily, I believe, in our youth. Appreciate our churches, our faith leaders in the city of Newport News, the work that they do. Debbie, thank you, Chief. Well, I don't know about me being awesome, but I know Debbie. I appreciate you. I appreciate this community, the men and women who do this job. I see them coming and going. I see the cases they take personal. I see the things that they say, things that they see, and that they have to respond to. And yeah, we're kind of put in the middle of a lot of things, and that's to maintain calm and order. And I appreciate the work they do and our citizens of this city. So, Kelly, we're going to call it there, I think. I appreciate those that were here today. I hope some log on and get to see. I hope some of this information was helpful. We're going to do it again. I'll be back this evening at 6 o'clock with Matt and take your questions and share a little bit of the information that we've gone over today as well. So God bless. It's summertime. There's a lot more kids out. Please be careful. You see kids out playing in the street, whether they're running around, playing sports, riding their bikes, walking. You know, I'd love to see everyone cross the crosswalks. We know that doesn't happen, so just please be vigilant. Please be careful. God bless you and your families, and we'll do this again in a couple hours this evening. Take care.